Hello, everyone, and welcome to A New Direction. My name is Jay Izzo, and oh man, mother, child, I am telling you what, we have got a show for you. Oh, it's called Success Left a Clue. Listen, here's what I want to say to you, all right, because I think you need to understand this here. I don't care what your level of success is. You can always be more successful. That's just a fact. Right? Because when you get complacent and you think, it's good enough, wrong mindset. Because you see, nothing ever stays the same. Matter of fact, my author and new friend, Robert Riopel, who wrote this book, we both have this saying. And he says it in the book. I say it all the time. It's you know what? If you're not growing, you're dying. It's just a fact. Right? If your mindset, if you're not having a mindset of growth, then you really do have a mindset of death. Ouch. That hurt, didn't it? Yeah. So look, folks, here's the deal. We're going to help you become more successful. If you're somebody who goes, man, I am so stuck, Robert's going to dig you out. Okay? If you're someone who says, yeah, I just can't figure out how to get to the next level, Robert's going to pick you up. If you're someone who is tremendously successful and says, I'm just looking for a little more, I could use to tweak something, Robert will tweak you. There it is. All right. So that's what he's going to do. But before we get to him, because the book is outstanding, Success Left a Clue, we're going to walk you through the 4 areas of your life. Look, we are 4-part people. We're physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual people. All right. And the truth of the matter is, as we've already talked about, if you're not growing, you're dying. So we got to grow in all 4 of these areas if we are going to be the absolute best we can be. When I have talked to the Special Operations Forces guys who've been on this show, right? They constantly say, you have got to be in constant training. You have got to be better every day. If your clone from last week should show up today, could you whip its tail? That's a pretty good question, isn't it? Right? Because if we're really growing, that clone of you from last week that shows up, you should be able to whip him or her. Right? So that's why we check in with ourselves in these 4 areas of our life, because what we want to do is we want to see where we're at and where we got to improve. It's not about the number that you're going to give yourself. All right. It is about just improving. So when we say the physical area, what I'm asking you is if you could rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm awful, 10 being I could not be any better. I'm going to ask you, how is your diet? How is your exercise? How about drinking enough water? And how about getting enough sleep? If you could put all those together, what number would you give yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Right? Now, I already told you, if your number is 3.0, if it's a 3, that's okay. We're just going to try to get to a 4. That's what we're going to try to do. If it's a 9, good for you. Let's get it to a 9.5. All right, so you got your first number. That's your physical number. Second number is your mental number. My wife likes to say, don't be a mental loafer. Don't just sit on your couch and just let things come at you. Be an active participant in your mental growth. Be an active participant in learning and growing and knowing more about what you do and how you can do it better. Who can you learn from? Who can you get to mentor you a little bit better? Actually, what's so funny? Robert talks about mentoring. Yeah, find some, chance. You know what he says? Chances are somebody's already done what you have done and has been really successful at it. So why not talk to them? Just something to throw in there, right? So listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, how active are you in mental growth? Remember, we are right and left brain people, right? So we got to work on our creative side. We got to work on our logic side, right? We have to work on both. A lot of ways to do that. Reading a book like this one is a great way to improve both sides of your brain. But there's other ways. You can learn an instrument. You can learn a foreign language. You can read a book. So you can listen to books, take notes on them. There's so many ways that you can do that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say your mental growth is going? All right, 2 numbers. Third number is the emotional, right? By the way we evaluate this on the show is because we could talk about emotional quotients and emotional intelligence forever. I'm a big Daniel Kahneman fan. And but the truth is there's 2 things that we're going to evaluate here. First is how well can you control your emotions under stress and pressure, right? And the second thing is how well can you tap into the emotions of other people and truly understand them? That's it. How would you rate yourself in that? Because the truth of the matter is when it comes to stress and pressure, it may be difficult, but you really do have a choice of how you feel and how you're going to respond. Actually, what's really funny about this is this guy who wrote this book, Robert Riopel. He says the same thing. You actually have a choice here and how you want to respond and how you're going to react, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say you're doing emotionally? And then finally, there's a spiritual area. And a lot of people get a little freaked out about the spiritual area. Don't, right? First of all, we have faith in something. I guarantee you have faith in something, right? You believe that something is going to happen, right? That hasn't happened yet. That is faith. Matter of fact, you don't even think about it, but every chair you sit in, you actually have faith that it's going to hold up when you sit down in it. It's true. But beyond that, when we struggle, we run to something and that becomes kind of our God. Whatever the first thing that you run to whenever you're in trouble, that's pretty much what you believe is going to help you. Right? But then there's another part that the spiritual part does, and that is in the midst of chaos, we can find peace, serenity, and centeredness. And that can come, maybe like for you, that's God. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's something else. Nature, I don't know. 2 questions. How's it working? What do you need to do to change it? And how can it be more fulfilling for you in your life? Now you have 4 numbers, and those 4 numbers are like the legs of the chair. If the legs of the chair are uneven, it's bad posture. You're going to be crooked, and you're just not going to function fully as you could. If the legs of the chair are too low and remain there, you don't grow. You stay stagnated. So that's where we're about today, and that is why I want to talk to this great guy. His name's Robert Raymond Riopel. It all began with him when after some success, Robert and his wife found themselves deep in debt and struggling. Thanks to guidance from total strangers, they started their journey in personal development and quickly turned things around. This led to Robert finding his true passion of learning and teaching others. It is because of his past and newfound passion for teaching that Robert started studying and mentoring from the top success trainers and thinkers in the world to find out what they have in common. And this is where he discovered that success left a clue. With this transformation, he's gone on to become a highly sought-after, life-transforming trainer, and that now travels the world teaching and inspiring hundreds and thousands of people each year about success through his clues. Robert Raymond Riopel now shares his knowledge that he has learned over the course of 15 plus years of training with the world through his book, Success Left a Clue. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, and please welcome for the first time ever, Robert Raymond Riopel. Welcome to the new direction, Robert.
Hey, Jay, man, just listening to you, I'm going, you must be my missing twin. And, the only difference between is hair today, gone tomorrow is the comparison between us. But, and I am just resonating, and I am lit up with energy and goosebumps. I know we're about to have a little bit of fun and help a lot of people. We are so in alignment. Thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, well, thank you for agreeing to be on. I knew this was going to be really special when I finished the book, and especially when I looked at your forward, and you gave a clue in your forward, and you say right away out of the blocks, you will affect people with your greatness, or you will infect them with your mediocrity. So let's just start right there, because that's the first clue that you share with us, because you're either going to be great or mediocre. Help us understand those two.
Well, and here's the thing is when you are you, I believe the greatest gift anybody can give this planet is to show up for who you are. Because when you do, people are either going to like you or they don't. And here's the key, Jay. If they like you, that's awesome. If they don't, that's awesome. This is coming from a world-class people pleaser. I look back and I look at the amount of time and energy I spent trying to be something different to please other people. And then while I was doing that, I was then alienating the people that liked me for who I was when they get the glimpses of that. And so when you step into your greatness, that allows you to really impact, because you're impacting people whether you know it or not, whether you're saying a word or not. Your energy is impacting them. And when you live in your greatness, you actually automatically give others permission to live into their greatness as well. But if you're sitting back and going, well, this is my lot in life and I'm okay with it, and you get into that mediocre stuck, you're now telling people around you that it's okay to be mediocre. And if you want to know why people get miserable, is because the same old. I love what you said. Your clone from last week, dude, I am going to utilize that, because that summed it up so perfectly right there for taking one more step.
Right.
How do you become an even greater person? And it's not like, what stops a lot of people is they think, oh my God, that means I've got to be pushing hard and growing to the extreme every moment.
Right.
No.
No.
Are you one step ahead than
Right.
you were? And if you are, celebrate that. Celebrate the crap out of that. So show up as the amazingness that you are. That's what the world wants to see. And that's how you will be affecting people with your greatness.
Yeah, I think what happens is that we really do not realize the energy that we either give out.
Correct.
I think we underestimate the fact that if you're in a bad mood, you when you're around other people, you may think you're covering it up, but you're not covering it up. Your energy is still negative.
Yep. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
go ahead.
My Domino's pizza days, I was known as Mr. Happy when I was a driver, because my parents taught me that no matter what's going on in your life, you leave that at the door. When you go to work, you be there and do the job that you're meant to do.
Right.
And so I knew that one negative person would impact the whole staff. And here, when you're doing 100 or more pizzas an hour from scratch during a supper rush, it gets tense. And so if you got someone in a bad mood, everybody's in a bad mood, and it carries through to the customer, everything. And so I was known for, I'd walk in the door, and if someone was in a bad mood, I wouldn't, be kind of anal to them. I would just go in, hey, how you doing today? What's going on in your day? And I'd work with them until they get in a better mood. And it got to a point where I'd open the door and you'd hear, Robert's here, everybody cheer up. And you'd feel the energy just impact. And also now during stressful situations, we're not making as many mistakes. We're not impacting each other that way. And that's the key that people understand. Think of it like this, Jay. Have you ever been sitting in a restaurant and someone walks in and you don't know why, but they just grab your attention? And it's like you're in a conversation, but it's like, who is that person? And they haven't even said a word. Just the energy they're emitting. We all emit that energy constantly.
Yeah, we do, don't we? So there's a secondary title to this book, by the way. Robert Riopel is his name. The author of Success Left a Clue. There's a secondary title. It says 6 life-changing habits to achieve your dreams while keeping it real, relevant, and repeatable. And so we're gonna try to walk through these steps. Hopefully, we can do that with commercial breaks as well. But we're gonna try it. Step 1: dream your big dream. Clue is dare to dream. And we talk about dreams. I think we talk about dreaming, but we, as we got older, and you make a point of this, as we've gotten older, what's happened is we used to think, oh gosh, someday I'm going to be a doctor, lawyer, astronaut, whatever. We got older and something stopped us. What happened?
Yeah. Society comes in. You don't have the right education. You were born on the wrong side of the tracks. You don't have what it takes to do that. Who do you think you are? And all these things that we hear as we're growing up, because we're taught, Jay, to be realistic. Right? Don't set yourself up for failure. Just this is your lot in life. And so all of a sudden our dreams get smaller and smaller. And as my friend and the gentleman who wrote the Ford, Mr. Les Brown, and Mamie Brown's baby boy, Les Brown, you got to be hungry. I love what he says. He says the problem isn't that we set the goals too high and we miss them. It's that we set them too low and we hit them.
Right.
And that gets us in that mediocre life. And so when people are dreaming the big dream, one of the fears that comes up is, but what if I don't get it? You're still going to be way better off than the people that don't set dreams at all. Hello. Right. So most of my dreams don't come true as I thought they should. That part, lose attachment. Because some of your greatest wins are going to be from things that you thought you wanted, but when you achieved, it was a different achievement. And you look back and go, wow, thank goodness I didn't get that. I got this instead. But you would never have got there if you hadn't even set a dream.
Right. And I think there's another thing, and you kind of bring this up, is that we get kind of afraid of our dreams.
Yeah.
We start, I think we think that, oh my gosh, the dream for this show is that we're going to disrupt the podcast universe, right? And that we are going to be changing lives all over the world, and that we are going to be a just top 100 show that people are going to listen to because we are helping people change all over the world. That's the dream of the show. Nice. And not only that, we are going to be the most sought after author show in the world, period. That's the dream. We're going to be the number 1 sought after book show in the world for business and success and leadership. And I don't mind saying that to public. There was a time when I feared saying that, because what happens if it doesn't happen? Can I tell you something? That's not even in my mind.
Right. Exactly.
That's not that people go, what happens if it doesn't? I'm not even thinking that way. Are you kidding? I'm doing everything that I can to make that dream become a reality. Right? I mean, I think that's the thing about the dreaming part that we miss, is that sometimes we're afraid to tell people our dreams because, what if I fail? That can't even be a part of your mindset, can it?
Well, in a sense, and I love what one of my mentors taught me. He said, when you get to that level of dreaming, Jay, here's what I want you to do. Only share your dreams, or let's not say only, mainly share your dreams with the people who have the ability to help you bring them to fruition. Because think about this, when they say your network is your net worth, and if you're sitting there sharing dreams with people who don't believe in dreaming, that don't think it's possible, then you're going to feel that energy coming in. But if
Right.
you're sitting there and you've got such a dream where you know it's coming true, there's no if and doubt maybe about it. So then it's like, who can I share this with that has the ability to help me move one more step?
Right.
And so, like, you're sharing your dream with me, and my automatic reaction is, how do I help you? How do I make that a reality? Because I love that dream. And so I'm not going to sit there and go, Jay, dude, come on now. Really? Don't you know how many are out there? I'm going to be like, I'm going to be your cheering squad. You tell me what we need to do. Let's make it happen.
Right.
So share your dreams with the people that can move you in the direction of them. And you'll find that you have a much easier chance going forward.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have an audience that I know loves the show. We're in, over 80 countries around the world and growing. And so, I know they're all out there, pushing me, cheering me on, helping me. So I don't have a problem sharing that with my listeners. I've never shared that before, but I felt like it was a good time. Here's the thing you talk about is the butterfly effect. And I think we need to chat just for a second about the butterfly effect, because I don't think we fully understand. We briefly talked about it, but that are the little things that we do have a much bigger impact than we think they do.
Yeah. And for anybody who hasn't read the book yet, Edward Lorenz, he, there's a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil caused a tornado in Texas. And really, and you watch, there's movies that have been made, or so many movies around the butterfly effect, everything like that. And what it is that when one little change, the impact it makes, the waves it sends out, how it can change your life. So when people are getting overwhelmed and they're unsure, what do I do? This is why I say take one little step, because one little change you make right now can have a huge impact down the road. One little change, and it came from Ed Lorenz. He was trying to predict weather patterns. And so he had this, when computers filled rooms to have less computer power than what's on our iPhones or our smartphones right now. And he would run these simulations to see what if you could predict weather patterns. And every inch, I believe it was, on his, where it's the old pencil drawing on a piece of paper to give you the results, every inch represented a day's worth of the weather. And he noticed that they were getting these predictability weather patterns. But one day, one of these complex patterns, he ended up, his system crashed, like computers do. And he had entered all the data into 6 decimal places. He was out of time. He was stressed out. So he decided, I'm just going to round it up, because that should make no difference in the world. I'll round it up to 1 decimal place. Entered the information back in, went away for a few hours to let it run. When he came back, he was expecting to see the same thing. And he did, but it was in the different direction with a little overlap. And that's why it looked like wings of a butterfly, which coined the phrase butterfly effect. And so when I read that and I was going into his work, I went, that is our mindset. People may go, but Robert, I've tried that before. It didn't work. Okay, well, do it again, but with one little adjustment. Make one little mindset adjustment. Look it back. There's 3 questions I always ask when I do stuff, Jay. It's this. And this is with myself or with a team. Every strategy session, we do this. What worked? And you make a checklist. No emotions. Just this worked, this worked, this worked, this worked. Not about getting into ego. Oh my God, that was amazing. No, it's just what worked. Then the second question is, what did not work? And again, checklist. No blame, no emotion, no you screwed up. No, it's just what didn't work. And then from those 2 lists, you look at it and you say, so what can we do different? And if you take even one little thing and say, this didn't work, so maybe if I do it this way, let's see what that does. And then you go, you just do it again. Those little changes little changes can make the biggest difference in your dreams coming to reality.
I love that. His name is Robert Riopel. The book is entitled Success Left a Clue. You're listening to him here on A New Direction. Folks, listen, I have two great sponsors here on A New Directions. One is Epic Physical Therapy. They are my physical therapist. Doesn't matter if you're recovering from surgery or you have an injury, suffering every day aches and pains. You just want to perform better. Maybe you're a professional athlete, which a lot of professional athletes go to Epic Physical Therapy, or you're an athlete, a younger athlete who wants to get better. Listen, you know what? They're elite professionals. They understand how to treat the entire body as a functional whole, not just the symptoms of energy and your injury. So when you're ready for your epic relief, epic recovery, and epic results, start right where the professionals do. Start with epicpt.com. That's EPICPT.com. And Linda Craft and Team Realtors, helping people all over the world for over 35 years. How is that possible? Well, it is because she's created relationships with the best professionals wherever you live. So when you're ready to sell your home, when you're ready to buy your home, go with the relationship real estate professionals. Go with Linda Craft and Team Realtors. You can learn more by going to lindacraft.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction, and we're talking with Robert Riopel, his outstanding book, Success Left a Clue. We are still in chapter 1, so if you feel like you've missed a whole bunch, you have, but it's just that we've been in chapter 1 for a while because there's so much there, because it is really where it starts. Let's do the pledge at the end of chapter 1, and you do have a pledge, throughout the book. You take a pledge, and these are things that you need to say to yourself. And a lot of people are good. We talked about this. A lot of people may feel weirded out by saying a pledge, right? But there's power in this. And you and I, before the show got on there, we talked about that, we're going to talk to ourselves anyway.
That's right.
There's a lot of self-talk that we talk to ourselves. So why shouldn't we be more intentional about what we choose to say to ourselves?
That's exactly
and why should it be more positive? So, but go ahead. Let's talk a little bit more about that before we do the pledge, because I think it's important for people to wrap their mind around that. Being intentional about what we say to ourselves is so important.
Well, and understand this: there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad. There's just things that support you and things that don't. But we've been conditioned so much to pay attention to the things that don't support us, and that's where we put our attention to. And look at universal principles. I love the one that says where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. So if you're putting the intention on what's not going well in your life, that's why more of that up. So having that intentional conversation with yourself. And I love that you say you're going to talk to yourself anyway. We do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, even, getting a little heated with yourself, that's okay. It's when you go onto Facebook though, Jay, and you do a poll, answer a question between your two personalities. That's when maybe you might want to get a little concerned about how far you're taking it. And so, because there's only supportive and non-supportive, right, take a look at what's supporting you and what's not. And if your conversation is not supporting you, change the conversation. And all the declaration is something you're saying out loud to put another vibration out into the universe of, law of attraction. And it's quantum physics. If you want to get down to it, it's quantum physics. Everything travels in frequencies and vibrations. And there's actually something called entrainment. Entrainment is two like energies come together. That's all it is. So if you're putting out a vibration of positivity, of what you want, of empowerment, guess what? The universe is going to come back with empowerment. But if you're putting out like, oh, my day is crappy, look how quickly your day is going to get even more crappy. You're going to attract crap. You're going to become a great big crap magnet, and you're going to be really good at it. Most people are. They're professionals. And so it's really being aware. It's having that self-awareness. And so having declarations, they help you put a great vibration out into the universe.
So Robert says what we should do, and I agree, we have to have a mindset for success. So here's the pledge. And you know what? You can repeat this later, repeat it now, write it down. Starting today. All right, this is the pledge. Starting today, I intend to have a great day, period. And I commit to dreaming bigger than I have ever done before. Right? Robert says, say it 3 times. Right? I think you should. But the truth is, you got to have a mindset for success, because that is where you've got to make it start, and you got to have it start happening. You have on your website, successleftaClue.com. People can actually put together a dream board. Is that right?
Well, actually, not on the website itself. I developed based on my book, and I love that you have a copy because I have a copy too. I imagine one. Can't figure out where I got this copy from. And with the book, I ended up creating an app called Amentora. It's like having a mentor in your pocket. So the word mentor, put an A at the end, A at the beginning, you got Amentora. Not because I'm Canadian, A has nothing to do with it. But I will let your listeners know right now that version 1 we've taken down because we're coding version 2 as we speak, which is going to be much more dynamic. And on it, yes, you can create vision boards. You're going to be able to, the new version of the vision board, oh my goodness, we use artificial intelligence on this one, Jay, whereas you're creating, cutting, overlaying, creating your visions. Google is reading your pictures and they're generating lists of words of what's in that picture. So you can then drag and drop the words onto your vision board. And it's going to be very, very powerful. So it's offline right now while we code out version 2.
Okay.
So once version 2 is up, though, I will absolutely let you know.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And we will let the listeners know as well when that happens. Step 2 of the 6 steps is find a mentor and model them.
Yes.
This is really, really, really powerful, isn't it?
It is. And I'm going to tell people step 2 comes actually in 2 parts. First part, quit trying to do it on your own. Anything you want to accomplish, chances are, unless you're an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos, chances are someone's done it before you. So why reinvent the wheel? Find someone who's done it, find out how they did it, and then follow the system. The biggest reason people fall into hardships or not being able to do well is they look at a system, and because of what we've been taught in schools, Jay, don't copy other people, that's cheating. Don't ask for help, that's bad. We come into the real world where the greatest way to have success is model what someone else has done. But our mind doesn't want to let us. So we see a system and our mind goes, I can do it better, or I have to figure it out my way. Put that aside. Put that aside. Find someone who's accomplished what you want, find out how they did it, and mentor from them. That's the first part. The second part is asking yourself, who can I be a mentor to? And I don't care what stage in life you are, what experience you have or don't have. I don't care where you're at. Something in your life, you've got experience where you can help others. And it's about giving, not just receiving. So it is a two-way street there. And when you ask yourself, how can I be a mentor? Who can I mentor? And you be honest, you be authentic. Like if I like the game of golf, I'm not good at it. I play army golf. The ball goes left, right, left, right, left, right. It never goes down the center. Oh, you can relate. See, we are twins.
Oh yeah.
I have another name for golf, but I can't. This is a PG show, so I'm not going to say what the other name is. But when it comes to golf, let's say I took my game from 120 strokes down to 100 strokes. I teach someone who's already hitting 80 how to golf. But I guarantee you, there's people that would love to go from 120 down to 100. Those are the people I could help out. So you be authentic with where you're at, because as you're helping them, guess what happens? You get better. You actually get better at it yourself.
Right.
So find a mentor and be a mentor to others.
Yeah. Yeah. I could not agree with that more. I think the mentoring piece, I think we sometimes may feel a little embarrassed about that, but there's always somebody better. Even if you're doing something, there's always somebody out there who's doing it better.
Yeah.
Right. There really is always someone out there. And sometimes it's across an industry. Because maybe it's an area in what you're doing that you need to improve at. Maybe it's a communication thing. Well, then there's maybe a CEO, maybe you're a CEO of a company, but you may find a CEO who's a really great communicator. Well, let's hook up and learn about what they do in that area. I think we get so focused on, I need a mentor who can cover everything.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Right. And really what we need to do is, gosh, I need a mentor in this area. Right.
Yes.
And it can be narrow. It doesn't have to be huge and broad.
No, it doesn't. And the original title, one of the original titles of my book was going to be 3, 2, 1 Rich. And I love that you talk about the 4 zones: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical, because it is about being holistic. And the equation of 3, 2, 1 Rich, and being rich in life, not just rich money. And so the reason I called it 3, 2, 1 Rich is because I'm a big believer, have 3 coaches in your life. 3 coaches. You could have a physical coach, financial coach, relationship coach, business coach. Get, again, in specialty areas. Don't try to find someone that can do everything. So have 3 coaches in your life. Have at least 2 mentors in your life. And again, difference between a coach and a mentor, in my opinion, a coach is someone's going to ask you the questions. What do you want to achieve? Hold you accountable. Here's how you do this. Let's take it one step at a time. But a mentor, because they've achieved what you want, because I love my passion, Jay, I love mentoring trainers, people who want to get their message out. I've been blessed to do over $100 million in sales in the last 18 and a half years around the world from the stage. So do I know how to do that from the stage? Yeah. So I'd love to help people do that. But I still have my training mentor to teach me how to get even level, because what I've accomplished, he's accomplished even better. So I still work with mentor. And the mentor, because they've accomplished what you want, they're not going to ask you the questions. They're not going to hold you accountable. They're going to say, if you want to get to the next level, do this, do this, do this. Don't contact me until you've done it, because I don't have time to guide you. I'm just going to tell you what to do. And when I'm being mentored, as long as it's legal, ethical, and moral,
right,
they tell me to do something, I'm not going to sit there, well, why? Are you sure? I don't know if that's going to work for me. Got it. Done. I will be back in touch with you as soon as I accomplish it. And I'll go and do it. So have 2 mentors in your life. And then the one is be part of at least one mastermind. At least one mastermind. Because, as Napoleon Hill, when he quit in 1925 in one of his first books, he expanded on it in Think and Grow Rich in 1937. But, in school, we're taught 1 + 1 = 2. But with a mastermind, 1 + 1 = 11. Because when you combine your knowledge with other people's, and I love what you said earlier about cross different industries even. Don't just mastermind with people that do the same thing you do, because you'll get the same answers to the same problems that you're looking at. If you look at people from different industries, and I love doing experiential masterminds. I did one a year and a half ago, Jay, in January of 2020. 8 of my students met me in Florida. We hopped on a private jet, flew to the Bahamas for the day, had a full police escort right to the Sandals Resort, spent all day masterminding while we had breakfast, lunch, dinner, masterminding on the beach, and then flew back that night. It was an experience, and no single person was from the same industry. And every single one of those 8 people, we created 7-figure businesses for them that day, because there was things that others could say. They were going, I didn't realize that. No, that's the great answer of how to get through this obstacle I've had. So if you have 3 coaches, 2 mentors, and be part of at least one mastermind, you will have a rich life in all 4 quadrants.
Well, you give us a clue there when you say that, and that is, success breeds success.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's the clue, really. That's the big clue that we pull from that.
It absolutely does.
Because you know what? You can't help but be more successful when you're around successful people. It's just all there is to it. I mean, we talk about often, I know you've heard it, that you will be the product of, in the next 5 years, you'll be the product of the books you read and the people you hang around with.
Exactly.
Right? So wherever you're at today, I want you to look back at your last 5 years and tell me about the books you read and the people you've hung around with. That kind of gives you a pretty good indication, right?
That's why I call it a clue.
That's right. It's a clue, right? And by the way, and part of the reason why we're doing the show this way is because I try to help people read these books like yours, like Success Left a Clue, so that what they do is if they listen to the show for 5 years and they get these books, guess what's going to happen?
Oh, their life is going to be at another level.
Right. Exactly.
I love it.
I mean, think about it for a second, right? It's like, well, why would you do books? Because, well, if you're going to be in 5 years from now, you're going to be the books that you read and the people you hang around with, and you hang around with me and Robert and the books that we do every week. What are you going to be? You're going to be better. And so I think that's the thing that's beautiful about what you write here is because, we've got an opportunity to be so great. Right. And I think we get a little bit, I think we fall into the false humility thing of like, oh, I don't want people to know. Dude, we need your greatness. You talk about that, right? We need your greatness.
The world's been waiting for you to show up in your greatness. And look, it doesn't mean you have to do what I do or what you do, Jay.
Right.
Your greatness could impact one person. How did I start training? The reason I started training is because I made the determination, if I could even help one person go from being financially stressed out and financially deep in debt to being completely retired, financially free, like my wife and I have been able to do, if I could help one person, that would make it all worthwhile. And from that one little start, now I've personally trained over 500,000 people around the world
Right.
in live trainings. So it started with one.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Right. Yeah. You talk about an action step in this chapter. It says, reflect on your dreams and goals. Who can you use as your model to get to where you want to go? And I'm just quoting what Robert wrote in the book. Who can be your mentor? And just as important, and I'm quoting Robert again, who can you mentor? Remember, it's not about finding someone to mentor you, but ask yourself, who can I mentor? In turn, it's important to give back. And you heard him say that. And that turns to the end of chapter 2. And there's another pledge at the end of chapter 2. And it says, the pledge is, on my journey toward achieving my goals, I will give back and mentor others. Right? That's what it's gonna. That's pretty awesome. Step 3. Let's jump into there. Take action.
Yeah.
You come right out of the blocks and say, with an exclamation point, you must take action. Okay, I did it that way.
Luke, I am your father. And it is because, let's go, since we're on that theme, do or do not do. There is no try. And that's my best Yoda, but it doesn't work. Because here's the thing, and I've seen this from I've been around the world multiple times, so blessed that way. And I don't care what the culture is, what the upbringings are, the biggest difference between success and non-success I see around the world is that successful people take action.
Right.
I love the saying that says, one step in the right direction is worth 1,000 years of thinking about it. And so you can have the greatest dreams in the world. You can have the most amazing mentors in the world. But if you don't take action, you're dead in the water, plain and simple. And so people get overwhelmed by this, though, Jay, because they go, well, and this is a big one. It is a big problem with people. They get overwhelmed. And the reason I've learned that they get overwhelmed is because they set their intention, they set their dream, and it's so huge that they try to figure out every single thing. How's it going to work? When's it going to be done? What do I need to do? And no wonder you get overwhelmed.
Right.
And that's why success comes one step at a time. Take a deep breath in. Come back to present and ask yourself, what's one step I can take right now to move in that direction? Take it, and then we'll talk about step 4, and then take another one. And so when you do your vision boards, think of that as like a 3 to 5 year vision down the road. And if you now break it back and you walk backwards, if my vision in 3 to 5 years, your vision, have this #1 podcast, everything that you want it to be. So what would that look like in a year from now? Now, you can't take any action in a year because a year's a year away. But what would it look like? Once you got that vision, now break it back and say, okay, to get to that vision, what would it look like 30 days from today? And what are some actions I might want to take to get to that vision? And now that it's closer, you can actually put in actionable steps. And once you've broken it down, let's go even further. Reverse engineer. 7 days of those 30-day actions. What would you do? Now you're not, what does it look like? Because vision is for, you're now close. In the next 7 days, from this list of 30-day actions, what could I do in my schedule? Keep it easy. Not in a perfect world if everything goes right, but in my busy schedule, it's my life, my family, my business, my job, whatever it is. What could I do in the next 7 days to move towards that? And then from there, bring it down to the 1 day. What can I do in the next 24 hours from that list of steps that without a doubt, even if things go wonky in a day, I can still do this one step. And my suggestion, the easier you make it, because it's all about creating the habit, Jay. That's it. So it could be, you want to be the greatest podcast. Your 1 day action step might be Googling what makes a great podcast.
Sure.
And so you not even read, just Google.
Right.
And then once you've Googled it, you go on to step 4 because you've achieved it. And step 4, which we'll talk about in a moment, will anchor it in for you, will keep you away from self-sabotage, but you've now achieved that one goal and you can go, yeah, what's my next step? And that's how you take action. That's how you keep from getting overwhelmed.
So, it's interesting that you say that because if people want to know, and I will share with them, I'm an open book here on the show. People want to know, well, what is the action step that you take if you're going to achieve this #1 book show podcast? And I will tell you that the first thing that I do, and I regularly do, is I study Larry King, because who is the greatest interviewer of
Mm.
all time. In my opinion, it was Larry King.
Yep.
And so I will pull up old Larry King shows and learn, because that's something I can do. Right. I will watch Johnny Carson. I
Yep.
will watch great interviewers, because I
Yep.
think that's what makes a great show. Right. And
Absolutely.
right. And I think that's what you're talking about is, so if people want an example, how am I doing that? That's how I'm doing it. I'm okay. I'm going to be a better interviewer. I'm going to learn the technology. I'm going to learn. A lot of people don't know it, but I've got a soundboard, 2 laptops, and a big monitor in front of me and a camera. And I'm going to learn the technology smoother. Right. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make that happen. So that's right. There's just these little steps. I want to ask you here. Well, actually, let's do this. Folks, you're listening to Robert Riopel here on A New Direction. We're going to be right back right after this. Folks, 2 sponsors, Epic Physical Therapy. My therapist, listen, they have the latest, the greatest, most awesome equipment in their facilities. And I don't mean just like one facility. They have several places that you can go to. They have all sorts of fun things to use if you want to. Did you know, like things like, oh, I don't know, the anti-gravity treadmill, Normatec compression sleeves, Game Ready, blood flow restriction therapy, dry needling, cupping. They have all the stuff, right? And they have all the knowledge and the certifications to make you better, move better, and become the best that you can be. I love them. Go check them out. It's Epic Physical Therapy. When you're ready for your epic relief, epic results, epic recovery, start there. epicpt.com, EPICPT.com. And Linda Kraft and Team Realtors. Look, she has stayed at the top of the real estate game for 35 years, which is almost impossible and certainly unheard of. How do you do that? It's because the relationships that she's made over the course of 35 years, she maintains and works at, because she knows and understands what people want, what people need, and she gives them to it, and she provides them with that value. That's why they keep coming back. That's why her first client from 1985 still comes back today. And that says something, doesn't it? So when you're ready to sell your home or buy your home, start with Linda Kraft and Team Realtors. That's lindacraft.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction. We're in with Robert Riopel, his book, Success Left a Clue. I got listeners all over the place chiming in on me as I'm listening, and I'm trying to interact with them. I just want to say thank everybody. Castbox FM Live. Of course, people watching YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Want to thank all of you. Also, I know that so many of you are going to listen on a podcast wherever you're at. That I need to thank you. Please give us a positive rating. And in addition to that, listen, I know that we are now coast to coast on terrestrial radio across the U.S. And whatever radio station you're listening to this show on, thank you for listening. And I would just add, tell your station that you're listening to that you just love the show and you just want more of us. That's what that we would love it if you do that. So thank you. I just need to say that to you. So we're taking action in step 3, and you have a clue. You have a clue. Your clue is basically the saying, we are our own worst enemy. So you talk about choose not to be your greatest obstacle is a clue, because we do get in the way of ourselves, don't we? And you talked about something before the break. You talked about that, sometimes we want to make things so perfect, and then we fear that we're not perfect enough. So then we don't take action. And my wife loves this acronym of fear that you have in the book, false evidence appearing real. But then you have a second one, which I've never heard before, but I like it. Failure expected and received. Yep. Love it.
Well, that's law of attraction right there, right? That's total law of attraction.
Yeah, talk about us being our own worst enemy and our greatest obstacle.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is think of it like this, because you're into, you're talking about professional athletes, you're talking about epic physical therapy. You're obviously in that arena. So think of yourself, what would a coach say to you if you stumbled on the field? What would they say to you? And when you stumble, be your own greatest coach. Be your own greatest coach. That saying that says, if we had a friend that treated us the way we treat ourselves, they wouldn't for very long. But we take it from ourselves. that inner chatter. And again, coming back to how we relentlessly, and I can only speak for me, but speaking for me, I've seen it with a lot of other people that end up relating, is something go right, and that negative criticism that comes in of, why did you think you could do it? Who are you? And today, I want to be I love that you say you're an open book, Jay, because I am too. People have asked me, what is one of the things I still fight with? And for me, it's low self-esteem. It is that, who am I? Well, Robert, you've been on stage in front of hundreds and thousands of people for 3 days, 5 days. Yes, but I still doubt myself. I took 3.5 years off because I didn't take care of my body. And when it came out of retirement, I'm getting ready for my first training, and my wife sees something's wrong, and she's like, Robert, what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. And of course, my wife's not going to accept that. She's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what if I don't have it anymore? And she shakes her head and she's like, pardon me? I said, it's been 3 years since I've trained. What if I don't have it anymore? And she looks at me and she goes, are you done with that? I'm like, no, seriously. She goes, are you done with that? She said, listen to me closely. The moment you step on stage, it's like you never left. And of course, Jay, she was right.
Sure.
If you're recording this, don't let my wife hear this, because and the moment I stepped on that stage, it was like I hadn't left. And so become your greatest cheerleader, not ego. It's about confidence, not arrogance. And I want to say that again. I want your listeners to get that. You see, in my experience, some of the most egotistical people are the ones that are trying to hide their insecurities the most. And so when you can sit there and own your greatness with confidence, and still people aren't going to like you, some aren't. But even if you aren't being confident, there's going to be people that don't like you. So show up for you, who you are in that greatness, and watch the amazing people you'll attract. It'll blow you away. Like, one of the things, how do you think, I think why you and I are going to become lifelong friends is because we have such synergistic energy, and our whole passion is to help people. And those are the people I want in my life, is the people that aren't going to be willing to just sit back and go, same old, it's what I've been given, there's nothing more I can do. The people that go, no, I've got more. And I wish I would have worn my cowboy hat today,
I do too.
It just doesn't look as good as me as it does on you, though. My twin brother.
Well, I could tell you why you and I are going to be good friends. There's another reason.
What is it?
We both love country music.
Oh, dude, I am back in my country kick right now. I love all kinds of music, but man, I'm loving country music right now.
I do too. As you can tell, I do love it. Let's move to step 4, celebrate. And you talk about celebrating your successes. Why is that so important?
Well, because you can have, again, let's go back to the first 3 steps. You can have the greatest dreams in the world. You can have the greatest mentors. You can even be taking action. Why is it we self-sabotage? Why is it that sometimes things just don't work out? It's because we forget step 4. And this is, again, our mind tells us, well, that's egotistical. And when I'm talking about celebrating, it's an anchor. It's telling your body, it's telling your cells, it's telling your muscle memory. Think about how athletes work out. They'll do repetition again and again and again, so they don't even have to think about it. It's so muscle memory. So anchoring in the celebration, it could be something just like a fist bump. Like, yes, I did that. It could be a 5. It could be like thumbs up. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to Disneyland because I just closed a $5 sale. I'm not talking that. If it's your first $5 sale and you got that first sale, sit there and like, awesome. And just give yourself a little anchor, fist pull in, like, yes. Yeah. Because now you've showed your system, you've showed your mindset, you've showed your body that you're willing to celebrate your successes. Because a success is a success is a success. And that's why I love what you said, how you start with your 7 gratitudes. You and I were talking before the show aired. And in the book, I talk about my success journal. Now, that's become even merged because it's always changing. Look, my clone of last week can't be as good as who I am today. I love that. Jay, I love that. And so my success journal, every morning I wake up, the first thing I do is I would write down at least 5 successes. And that's why on my app, I had a success journal in there. Right. But it's morphed over the years. In the new version, it will actually be 6 major journals where you can put a journal of dreams. And the encryption's so tight, we can't even read anything anyone writes in these 6 major journals. We want them to be able to just share their deepest thoughts. But my success journal is now a success and gratitude journal. And so I write down at least 5 successes and gratitudes every single day when I get up, because now my day's set for, I some people do it at night, go to bed. I
Right.
choose to do it in the morning as a way to get my
Yeah.
morning going.
Me too.
But here's how it's morphed over this last year because of where the world's at, is when you're writing in your gratitude journal. Jay, do you ever write down someone's name that you just think of that you're grateful for them being in your life? Is
Oh
that one of the
gosh.
things that goes?
Oh gosh, regularly.
Right.
Oh, right. There's regularly somebody that I'm just grateful for.
So here's a practice I started, and I'm going to recommend this for you. As I'm writing down their names, I'm thinking of a specific situation of why I'm remembering, why I'm grateful. Then all of a sudden I went, why am I just writing it in my book? All of a sudden I get on, whether I'm connected with them on social media somehow, if I can, I leave a voice message. I don't need to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them. So I'll record a message, and it might be, hey, Jay, I just want to let you know in my gratitude journal today, you came up in my mind because I was remembering the great interview. And I just want to let you know I appreciate you, brother. Have a great day. No attachment.
Wow.
Whether they hear it or don't, they
Right.
respond or don't. I'm doing it to express another version of my gratitude. And the moment I started doing that, oh my goodness, some people get back to me, and it's people I haven't even talked about in years. And I'll tell them the reason I thought of them in that moment, why I wrote their name down. And I have some of the most amazing reconnections.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, in my busy life of traveling around the world, I told myself I didn't have time for this. But this is a practice I will now keep doing for the rest of my life. And some of it's just and kind of, I know it's going a little long on, but this one gentleman, I reached out to him and said, Bob, because of this, our time in Florida when we were impacting your students, thank you for being you. And all of a sudden he's like, Robert, I was with you the last couple of days. I've been wanting to reconnect. And so we get on a call, and we end up talking for about an hour and a half. But the first hour of the call, there was this tension. And I could feel it. And so we're wrapping up what I thought in the call, and we're just connecting, having a great time. And all of a sudden he goes, so, how can I help you? And I'm like, what do you mean? So, well, why did you want to reach out? And that was the tension, because we're so used to that someone wants something from us. And I said, Bob, I just want to connect. There's no ulterior motive. There's nothing behind it. And all of a sudden I watched his shoulders drop, and he went, wow, what a breath of fresh air. Right. And we ended up talking for another half hour, and just had because he now let his guard down, and we just had an amazing conversation. Right. See, to me, that's celebration right there. Yeah. And it's just, that's connecting with people. And instead of what can you do for me, it's, I just want to connect because you're an amazing person. That's all.
Yeah, I was just grateful for you today. I was just thinking about you today, and I'm just grateful for you. I just am grateful, and be specific, right? I was thinking about you today. I just am grateful for your encouragement, or I'm grateful for the time we had together. I was just reminded of that time we had together, right? I mean, it's just so simple, but it's so elegant, and it's such an encouragement and to others, right? And it's so refreshing because it's not somebody on your LinkedIn page going, I have this new system that you can purchase that will help your business, right? It's
because I'm grateful for you buying.
Yeah, well, okay, whatever. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole because we certainly could do that. One of the pledge one of the pledges from this chapter is it says, I got this. If you could do it, I can do it, and I will create. And that's pretty good. That's a pretty good pledge. The second pledge was from this moment forward, I will doubt the doubt. A lot of people don't understand, but you talk about it, that we have to get to the point where we start doubting the doubting, right?
Yeah. Oh, talk about mess with your mind. Like the moment, and this is where awareness comes in, where all of a sudden if something's just, I can't do it. And all of a sudden the moment you realize you're doubting yourself, aha, why can't you? Like, get dramatic about it in the beginning. One of my mentors, John Kehoe, who wrote the book, Mind Power into the 21st Century, and his latest book back in 2012, Quantum Warrior. And I'll blow your mind. And he sits there and he goes, actually sit there and go, aha, why not? And get dramatic about it, because that will mess up your mind. It will. And so when you doubt your doubt, then you realize it's usually just coming from fear, which is all made up stories anyway.
Step 5, and this will be the last one we do because we're going to run out of time, but we're going to do it really quickly. It's impossible to do it really quickly, but we're going to do it. Step 5 is believe. And
Yeah.
I love it. And you have right out of the box, you say, look for the situations that allow you to get in the game and take them. Change your mindset. Be ready for action.
Yeah. I love the saying ready, fire, aim. Most people, it's like, I get ready, I aim, I aim, I aim, I aim some more, and I
Right.
never frickin' fire. But
Right.
how do you know? And think of football, because I kind of have a thing, you know football a little
I
bit.
do a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Does a team go on the field with the whole four um, quarters?
Yeah.
Quarters, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We go on the
You know,
field with our full rank of people.
and all every play mapped out from beginning of the game to the end of the game. It's all mapped out right from the beginning before every take field, right?
Oh, well, we have a plan.
Yeah,
We have a plan. It
you
may
do have a
change,
plan.
but we have a plan. Yeah, we have a plan
That's the
going
point.
forward. We do. We have it. We have a plan. If everything goes the way we expect it to go, we have that map.
Yes. And so you get ready in the time you have, you fire, which means you get in the game. And now,
Right.
depending on the position of the ball on the field, whose down it is,
Right.
who they've put on their offense or defense,
Right.
you're changing, you're making adjustments. So
Right.
that's why you get ready in the time you have, you fire, you get in the game. That's where you will see what's working, what's not. So you aim, you fire again, aim, you fire again, aim,
Right.
you fire again. And that's how you win in life. But
Yeah.
most people get the analysis paralysis because they're aiming, 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 creating every what if scenario, but they've never actually taken the action to move forward. And so when it comes to believing in yourself, that's where these small steps come in. And one of the things I do when I mentor people, Jay, is I'll say this, especially in the beginning, if when I see, because I love to mentor people who have great messages to get to the world. And I'll literally tell them, let me be your greatest cheerleader until you can believe in yourself enough.
Right.
Let me tell you why you're great. And so it may mean surrounding yourself. And so if you're having a tough time, have that group of people, growth-minded people, where you can message them and just say, hey, I'm feeling a little disgruntled right now. Can you give me some input of why you love being my friend? And then be open to receiving the kind words that they'll send back. And watch what that does, because that belief in yourself, step number 6 we can cover, because it's simply repeat first 5 steps. And don't let the simplicity fool you, because here's what happens, Jay. When you start dreaming big, you find a mentor, someone to model from, you take action, you celebrate your success, it increases the belief in yourself, which allows you to have greater dreams, greater actions, greater celebrations, greater belief, and it becomes a beautiful perpetual cycle.
His name is Robert Riopel, and you've just heard him talk about success left a clue. Folks, that's the show. Listen, I say it to you every week, right? You are in control of 2 things at all times, regardless of circumstances or your situation. That is your attitude and your effort. Take advantage of that, because you can take advantage of having a great attitude despite, and you can always give a little bit more effort. It's there. You've got it within you. I'm going to be back next week with another great guest. It's going to be another great book. It's going to be another great show. And as I say to my people who speak French, I think it's au revoir. Ciao, everybody.